to the Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by the Lines and Play Picks. Coming to you from Oakland, California, as always, Josh Lander, joined by my counterpart on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. A pretty good slate tonight, Nate. Nobody got our prop last night for the gift card. Trae Young's points and assist total. Everybody was dancing around 30, what he got, and everybody went over. So we're going to do that again today. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, and then drop your total in the comments when we give it to you here in a little bit. And now we're going to jump right into the lines, Nate, for the 4th of February.
Yes, sir. After a pretty rough night for the betting public, we have some good opportunities here to bounce back. Blazers +9 at the Sixers. Both stars on either side are questionable there. Jazz -8 at the Hawks. Warriors now +2 at Mavericks. Rockets +2 at Grizzlies as they both look to bounce back. And the Nuggets are +5 at the Lakers. Josh, what are you looking at on that 5-game slate?
Yeah, I'm starting on the West Coast, Nate, in LA. We've got Denver visiting the Lakers, two really, really good teams. Obviously, a rematch of the Western Conference Finals. I'm looking mostly at how the Lakers give up points at home. It's somewhat of an oddity to me, but they are scoring a bunch more points at home than they are on the road, and also giving up more points there. So, you could look at the over, which is still pretty small and dropping at around 217.5 now. Denver's 8-2 against the spread on the road. They've covered in 6 of their last 7. And they've gotten a bit better on defense to be able to hang with the Lakers, but mostly I do see both teams putting up points. If you do want to take the spread, I do think 6 is a little bit too big, as last year when the Lakers beat the Nuggets, they only did so by an average of about 5 points, which is about what you're going to find the spread at. So a little bit shaky there. Lakers money line parlayed with something, I know we might talk about that a little bit, is a little bit more comforting to me. But I do feel comfortable with an over of 217. I think that's going to hit.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Lakers, you don't know what you're going to get from effort in terms of the regular season, but they have won their last 6 games at Staples against teams with winning records. I think they still might, kind of toy with their effort until the final stretch here, which is why we don't feel great about them covering 6 points. But it is why we feel like the Nuggets can keep pace, get this game over the total, which they have done, yes, most of the time on the road this season. And as you mentioned, the Lakers are giving up 110 points per game at home, so that kind of shows their relaxed effort. So I like, parlaying that over with the Lakers money line. You get about +150 on your money there. It's a good way to get some value without risking the spread. Another game I like the over. Grizzlies and Rockets both coming off surprising losses. I know the Rockets burned a lot of people last night, including us, by not coming out with much effort against the Thunder. They rested John Wall on the front end for this game. So now we have John Wall back, right? We have Ja Morant back for the Grizzlies, who are coming off their own stunning blowout. And both those teams just really ratchet up the pace when you have those speedy point guards, right? The Grizzlies, this is pretty stunning, average just 103 points per game without Ja. They're up to 117 points per game with Ja. Their last 3 games with him back, they've gone over the total by an average of 21 points per game. They're 4th in offensive rating during that span, and their last 4 against the Rockets have been high scoring. They've averaged 235 combined. I think with both teams looking to set the tone and bounce back, we see a high scoring game here that gets over 223.
Yeah, I'm with it. As you mentioned, mostly Houston burned us last night, in my opinion, because this is John Wall's team. And that's indicative of what you said, that tonight might be a high-scoring game when you have that speedy point guard back, especially taking on the youngster who plays a lot like John Wall used to play, in Ja Morant. I'm going to move on to a game that is going to be completely decided by who plays, and that's Portland and Philadelphia. As we know, Portland is reeling without Nurkic and McCollum still, meaning Dame is the offense. It is still a good offense when Dame is in it, obviously. So we'll see if he's going to play tonight with that abdominal strain. If he does play with the abdominal strain, I still, that's tough. I'm not sure that he can put the team on his back on offense like he needs to. And there's really nothing else for them to lean on, both on the offensive end and the defensive end, without since Nurkic went out on the 14th of January last month. They're completely dead last in defensive rating. Their offensive rating has dropped from 6th in the league to 12th. They've got the 4th worst net rating in that time and just the 5th worst effective field goal percentage. So they're already bad on defense. You took out their best defender in the middle, Nurkic. Not only did they get worse on defense, they got worse on offense. And Philly at home is really the story for them, right? They're 10-1 at home on the season, which, by the way, is 41-5 dating back to last season at home. And then 8-3 against the spread at home. They still cover. One more thing. Once again, Philly's a team that is incredible at defense. But they do give up more points at home to the tune of a lot more points at home, 10 more than on the road. And they also score 5 more. So, if Dame doesn't play, I do like Philly with the spread, even at 9.5. I'm probably going to grab it right now in the prediction that he doesn't play. And if he does play, I'm going to grab that over 227. I think both teams will be able to score points in Philly tonight.
Yeah, Dame, rarely misses games, right? The guy is tough as nails. I think Embiid is on the MVP path, so we probably will see him play. And yes, all things being equal, both guys play. Still like the Sixers to cover. If Embiid is out, I would worry about that. But I think you can get a small value bet in before that line moves when we get that news. And then our last game that we're looking at, I think we both like the Mavericks against the Warriors, who are really just dreadful on the road. Also some really stunning home road splits. They give up 106 at home. They give up 120 points per game on the road. Their scoring drops about 6 points per game. And yes, the Mavericks have been struggling, and they struggled initially when they got their 4 guys back from the COVID list. But that was against Utah at altitude. Easy to make excuses there. They clearly found their groove last night, beating Atlanta. Josh Richardson has played well in back-to-back games. That's the third option that they really desperately need. And they match up well against a Warriors team that cannot protect the paint, obviously, with no centers. James Wiseman, Kevin Looney out. We're looking at Juan Toscano-Anderson as their center for the most part, right? And Luka is not going to have much trouble navigating around him. Getting his points. Dallas has dominated this matchup. They've won 4 straight by an average of 30 points per game. So this seems like a get right spot against a Warriors team that's just 2-6 against the spread on the road.
Yeah, and I think we both like the fact that Dallas finally showed up, put some points up against the Hawks, and won that game handily. And that's, as you mentioned, trending in the right direction. With Golden State, it's really just about what they don't have. It's a perfect team for Dallas to match up with right now. As you mentioned, Dallas doesn't give up points in the paint. The Warriors are not going to be able to score in the paint. And really the Warriors aren't going to be able to guard, in my opinion, at this point. As you mentioned, if there's no center there to take on Luka with his slow moves into the lane, then there's no one to stop the Mavs offense at that point. And then you've got, KP and Willie Cauley-Stein, and the size is just going to be too much for them. One thing I did notice is Kelly Oubre is notably bad. I just thought this was a very interesting statistic that players on the Celtics in their recent loss who he was guarding shot about 30%, or scored about 30% more points than their season average. I just thought that was an incredible stat from Marcus Thompson at the Athletic. And I look for Dallas to be able to score a bunch more points again tonight. So, with that, Nate, any DFS you want to bring us to kind of wrap things up here?
Yeah, Juan Toscano-Anderson, I mentioned. I think you're getting good value there. He's going to have to play big minutes for the Warriors. He's their preferred option down low. And the Mavericks specifically, yes, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith offer some really good salary relief. Low ceilings, but that's all right at their price tag. I'm looking at some Grizzlies with their balanced attack. Jonas Valanciunas still out, so Xavier Tillman will get the start. DeAnthony Melton still scoring very efficiently, and I think Ja Morant is due for a pretty good game here. And the Hawks are shorthanded, so I'm looking at Kevin Huerter in cash. He's pretty much the only wing they have right now.
Awesome. Before we forget, Nate, we are going to leave you with the total for tonight. If you give us the exact total of that Nuggets-Lakers game tonight, exact total combined points from both teams, like and subscribe to this video and page, and then drop your total in the comments. We'll go ahead and give that gift card to the winner. Really looking for someone to come and take that off our hands from us tonight. We will be enjoying watching these games with you guys, looking for a little bit of a turnaround, as I know a lot of us got killed last night. And we'll be back tomorrow with another show. Happy betting, y'all.